Supercoach Magic Rounders, may the luck finally be in our favour for the captaincy this week, and our fullbacks go strong. But let's get into our buy, hold, sell and kick it off with the tough fullback position. And myself, I'm very much contemplating going Gutho to Drinkwater. Now, Gutho's playing up against the Tigers, which is a pretty nice matchup. But the question is, how do we get the great man Drinky into our side with this setup? Because with Ponga having a pretty solid little run, probably not going to sell him. He's very, very cheap, and you'd need 300,000 to get up to any of these guys. Pappenhausen we can't sell, no way, not with the goal kicking, and Gutho's that guy. So I think I want Drinky for the entirety of the next 3-4 months basically. And when you look at this situation, it's probably Gutho has to go for him. So he could be a hold given he's up against the Tigers and he has got big scores in him, but he's got 3 low ones in the last 4. Teddy's a really good guy to have in your side. He's 856k though, so do you have that cash available? You probably do. There's cheapies that you can go to. There's ways you can go up and down for sure, which we'll get into. But when you are looking at this fullback position, it's still all those guys on the total points. I've got 2 of the top 3. Teddy's up top again, dominating as usual. 86 is the average and played every game so far. Hammer comes into Origin soon. Fletcher Sharp with a low one. I think he's a buy in the next... He could be a buy this week. He could do really well over the next few weeks as well. He'll be pretty solid for the Origin period, but that 48 sort of slows him down in getting too high in cash. So he's definitely someone in fullback or centre wing, but probably centre wing that you could look at coming into the next little period of time. Yongi's at 493. Some people sold last week, so I probably can't recommend him as a buy. And there's not much else in that fullback slot. So really the question is going to be Drinkwater or Tedesco if you want anyone. With Pappenhausen, the other guy you can definitely look at buying, coming off that lovely sin bin. So they're sort of the top 3 that you'd want right now. And hopefully we can get some good scores out of Ponga. Now, centre wing is a fun one. We've got guys like Toya just aren't delivering. Still are going to play round 12, but do you need someone like that is probably going to hit somewhere between that 30-odd and 60-odd if they do score a try, luckily. So they could be sold. Billy Smith with a tough one last week. But that centre wing position, we saw Karaz and Herbie be the big buys of the week, and they got 53 and 72. I think both of them you can still purchase, and Karaz is the best buy of the week in centre wing at 680k. We saw Ronaldo have a really good game. Can you buy him? Sure. They have the Parramatta Eels this week, which is a pretty decent matchup, but following that, it's sort of okay, and he's only, apart from that 110, he was averaging like 55 for the year, which wasn't great, and may continue going forward, that he goes back. We've missed that 110, and he goes back to some lower scores. Greg Marzoo did go up 46,500. They have the best little run coming up, the Knights, if they can play well. And that's the big question mark. Can they actually play well? And if they do, he should do well there for sure. And I'm tipping him to be a good guy to have, and thankfully I do own already. Jackson Purdue is almost the same price as Greggy, which is crazy. And he's just going to keep going up. Jackson, he's such a legend. And someone I hope that a lot of you have. And if you don't, then you've got guys like Tamale doing a good job. You could play him again this week. He just seems to continue scoring tries or getting some line breaks. And up against the Storm is a bit of a tougher matchup. And do you go for someone like Billy Smith in your starting team over Tamale with the slightly easier matchup than what the Storm are? Both for Moore is a big one on the list this week with 553k after that really big 132. Definitely a good chance he plays Origin as well, given the situation that the Maroons are up against at the moment with their back rowers. And it's guys like Gilbert coming back into that. Jeremiah Nanai, could they go Capewell again? For Moore, does one of those guys go to the bench? Heaps of different things they can do. And, helps you with options this week. He is an option this week, I should say, at that really good price. And you've got guys like Dylan Lucas as well he didn't go particularly well on the weekend, just had to do a lot of tackling compared to the running he's had to do. Kale Iro has been absolutely crushing it. I like him at 725k. Scored tries in all of his games so far, but averaging 80. at a reasonable price there. Lucas at 646. Still scored 63 in a game where there was no attacking stats for him. So he is definitely one of those guys across second row forward or centre wing that will be a great pick. Awesome for the bye period, and is someone you can jump on now if you want that stability and safety in that position. Nwangani Tawaze, I think he continues to do well, but at 575k, it's a bit of an awkward price now when you can go for other guys that don't have a bye next week, like Lucas, that are a little bit more expensive, but can do a good job for you. And Bowie, expect him to go back to some 50s and 60s and the odd 70, I'd imagine, with that 132 being a bit of an outlier for him. Bradman Best, a low one for him. He's definitely got it in him, but again, it's so many up and down games for him and Sharp and these guys at the moment averaging 64. But yeah, week to week, it's very hard to determine when they are going to come out and do that good job. And then heading down the line, there's not too many others apart from Robert Darby last week was the big cheapie to have a look at, but he is 360 now and he's already gained the 146 after 2 gains the last 2 weeks, and it becomes tougher to look at someone like him as a cash down in this center wing position where there aren't a lot of clear buyers. Like Isaac Tungo went pretty well off the bench a couple of weeks ago, then a 95 last week. Can that stick? Look, I'm not expecting it to against the Broncos as well. Definitely not. It could, but I'm not expecting it at all. Guys like Dane Gagai have lost so much cachet, but it's hard to jump on any of guys like that. Harry Hayes is centre wing. Wow, I didn't even realise that. He's had a really good year. Really good year, up to 422k. Yeah, so centre wing, there's some options for sure. No one's really absolutely smashing it, so it's not the position that's winning your Supercoach right now. It's definitely if you have the correct fullbacks with some of these guys like Ponga really struggling and getting captaincies right is the big one right now. 5'8", I think in my situation, Munster and Dewey is probably the current play, and Dearden would have been a terrific buy last week. You could jump on for a shorter 3-week play for him before I do think he goes to Origin, but either way we'll find out because they don't play around 12 anyway. Munster's just been okay in recent weeks since we've kind of got him, and you will see Flanagan come into more of an important role, but not enough for him to be of relevance there. Luai, does he could potentially make it back into Origin. Matt Burton suspended, so keep an eye out on him over the next few weeks. He's down to 576k, and over Origin period, I think he could be a good one. And then we'll have to wait and see with Jaden Campbell on his return when that does happen. He will be a fun one to look at as well. And then we'll have the youngster King Tagia from the Dragons that we'll have a look at as well over the next few weeks and decide in next week or round 11 if you want to jump on him. Now the halfback position, it's getting closer and closer to Jerome Hughes' season. We had Sandon Smith with his massive score, and if you own him, I'm potentially going to play him over Starling this week with Raiders playing Storm and Sandon coming off that really good game. Can he back it up with something decent? Jerome's at 620k, similar to Nico Hines, and I think either of those guys could be a good buy for you. Fogarty getting a bit more expensive after that try and the tri-assist that he put together over the weekend. And has had a really good 3-week setup of 89. So he's been the best. What's wild is he's been the best halfback, which you don't expect it. You probably expect it more in fantasy, but it's happened in Supercoach here with Reynolds having a really good week as well. So average-wise, we've got Moses with the one game, and you can jump on him at 630, but be aware that he's a decent chance of making Origin. Isaiah Katoa has been really solid as well. So it's a position that's just okay. There's a few options, but most likely you're not trading too much in that position. Like I got Nico last week, and I'm happy with that. And it's bounce back week. Come on, guys. Second row forward. I think guys like Nicholson, guys like Horsburgh, definitely hold Nicholson for the Origin weeks. I think he can have a good week there. Preston's still a good buy, 714. Geez, we're due for some good Eli Katoa games after how well he started the season. At least a bounce back 73. Mentioned Lucas as an option. Olakwatu with a really good game. It was nice to see him bounce back for owners. Hudson Young with a low 70. Ugh, poor. Didn't score a try. Who are you? Phil Kickout's at 590. putting on tries, which has been really good for the doggies there. I don't know if you can buy him at 590. It's not too bad. He's only gone up a little bit given he's played 4 games, and the average is good without being spectacular. I think I'd go for other options. We need a Nicholson to go up higher. 552 Ks. He's averaging 66, and you see here a lot of the guys that are averaging that 66 number are in the early to mid 600s. So come on, Matty, get up there. In terms of other guys to have a look at, we mentioned Bo, Aaron Clark, absolutely crushing him right now. We've got Fish coming back, and I'm contemplating getting him in fantasy with the base stats that he's putting up. Got the try assist on the weekend along with that craziness. Averaging 64, he's sort of been in the 60s or so over the last month, which is fine. Similar to that with Kai Paul. They're both at a similar price. Do you want to jump on one of them, kind of ride them for a month or so, and then potentially sell? I think it's fine. I definitely think you can do it. If you have just under 600k, then they work well, given they play round 12 as well, where Bo Fermor doesn't. So have a look at those guys. Jackson Ford with the double in that one was good for him. Siwa Wong down 30k this week, and he's an interesting guy to potentially look to sell. I think he's just not delivering the goods, and had the assists on the weekend as well. But yeah, you think the way that he was playing with the base stats, that it just hasn't transitioned over the last few weeks. So that's the annoying one with him. Hopefully he can bounce back if you do hold. And Britton Nickera, he's getting very, very cheap. So keep an eye on him. He'll be a very interesting pick over the next 3 weeks or so, with 550k under his belt, and then a 3-round average of 45. So could probably let him go down a little bit cheaper. And look, he probably comes out and scores well this week, but he just hasn't looked like it at all. Hasn't looked like playing really good footy, unfortunately, there. Guys like Dylan Egan, I think you hold another week. They're not high on the break-even side. Well, he is for this week, sorry, I should say, at 61. But he's not very expensive, so it's not going to take much for him to come out, and if he scores a couple of 60s to make some cash again at that price. Thomas Kent there, if you don't have to trade him this week, given he's going to miss this one in 18th man. So that's the second row forwards. Pretty stock standard at the moment with them. In terms of cheapies, there's not a lot out there. You could go for like Savala, who we didn't mention in the half spot, but yeah, it's not too much else there. Jeremiah Nanai at 131 for him with a 554 price point. Again, probably makes Origin, and does he just go back to having average scores again? You know, that's the thing you have to worry about with Jeremiah there. And yeah, we'll leave it there for the second row forwards. Go to the front row forwards, and what we're looking at is Payne Haas and Terrell May just dominating, and we just need to make them our captains, don't we? They're so good. They're so good every week. Tarpany with an 88. He'll be interesting come round 12 as well. He continues to just get attacking stats at the moment, and he's crushing it. Tino's doing fine. He's up 100k. If you don't own, probably not now. Tarpany's so low owned at 4.7%. Seems to be the majority of people have Haas, May, and Tino, and then the odd person has Adam Fanua-Blake, who's at a really nice price right now, 662. So he's someone I'd have in my sights over the next few weeks. If you're looking for a front row forward, can move Tino down or Horsburgh down or whoever you have there. So that's a really fun one. And that's really it for front row forward. There's not too many guys you want to look at this point. You got Tua Vaiti, who came out and did really well for the Eels, but I don't know if we need any more cashies, and you can just cycle some of these guns that you'll be missing through Origin over the next few weeks, and different things like that. Starling did have that try assist taken away, which was rough, but he's okay. I think you just hold him. You hold Sandon. Mamazella had a decent game on the weekend as well. Connor Watson, I think you hold for another week and then decide in round 10. Wade Egan got his try, which was really good for 86. Do you want him in your side? Maybe. Robson, 85. Yeah, the back-to-back really good weeks for him was nice. Reid Marnie, 16. Yeah, I don't think we'll jump on there. Jake Simpkin, is he going to keep playing decent minutes, or do we actually see Lockie Croker come back? Just Savunga, a decent score for him as well. So the hooking position is just rough. Just hold on where you're at. Riley Smith, you can bring in as a cheapie. Not too bad of a pick at 283, but if you got Starling, Smith like myself, or Connor Watson or whatever else, just stick with them. to be honest. Cam McInnes could be an option come round 12. He's very consistent in the 50s and 60s. Jeremy Marshall-King's okay. Pete, as I said, you could just hold. It's a bit of an awkward position right now, so, and has been all year, will be all year. So just stick it out and make your trades in important positions that are getting points and getting good captaincy scores. And fullback's the important one there. There's a couple of big dogs in centre wing you can grab. But front row forwards dominating, make sure you've got that sorted. Second row forwards hit and miss on week to week. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there, guys. That's the buy, hold, sell for Supercoach this week. You'll get my trades when I put it all together on Friday, which will be good fun. I've got to work it all out myself, and guys that I'm potentially looking at moving on, we'll have to decide on guys like Egan. We'll leave half and 5/8. We've got Toya to potentially move. Gutho might go to Drinkwater so I can watch my boy from the Cowboys in Magic round. The rest of the second row forward, the rest of the front row forward is sweet. So it might just be a 2 trade effort or a 1 trade effort this week and potentially make some further moves the following. We'll leave it there, guys. Thanks so much for this one, and we'll see you in the next one.